Have you ever felt weary, not because the road is too long, but because of the heavy weight you carry upon your tired, aching shoulders? Kaito had traveled thousands of miles, yet with every single step, his burden seemed to grow heavier, pulling him down toward the unforgiving, dusty earth. Within his bag lay stones of the past, representing every mistake, every regret, and every bitter memory that he refused to leave behind or forget. He believed these stones defined his journey, yet they were the very thing slowing him down, turning a beautiful pilgrimage into a painful and endless ordeal. The sun dipped lower, casting long, haunting shadows across the forest floor, mirroring the darkness that Kaito carried deep within his restless and weary soul. Finally, his strength gave way. He fell against the trunk of an old tree, in his breath coming in jagged gasps as the world blurred around him. In this moment of absolute stillness, the only sound was the rustle of leaves and the heavy thud of a heart burdened by too much history. He wondered how much longer he could endure this path, fearing that the weight of his own life would eventually crush him into the very ground. As the mist began to rise from the damp earth, the gentle sound of flowing water guided Kaito toward a hidden sanctuary deep within the woods. There, sitting by the water's edge, was an old Zen master. He moved with a grace that suggested he carried no weight at all in life. The traveler approached, the sound of his heavy bag echoing harshly against the peaceful melody of the stream, alerting the master to his miserable presence. The master looked up, his expression one of deep compassion. "Young traveler," he spoke softly, "what is it that makes your shoulders bend so low?" Kaito replied, "I carry the stones of my life. If I let them go, I fear I will lose the very essence of who I am." The master offered a cup of tea, his movements slow and intentional. He seemed to understand the weight of the invisible chains Kaito had forged himself. A silence fell between them, broken only by the steam and the stream, as the master prepared a lesson that would change Kaito's life forever. The master picked up a small stone from the bank. "Hold this in your hand," he commanded, while Kaito still clutched the straps of his bag. At first, it felt like nothing, a tiny pebble against the palm of his hand, insignificant compared to the great weight he had carried for years. But the master did not stop. He added another stone, and then another, forcing Kaito to tighten his grip to prevent them from falling into the stream. The seconds turned into minutes. The small stones began to feel like lead, their sharp edges digging into Kaito's skin with an increasing, biting intensity. His arm began to tremble violently. The physical strain was becoming unbearable, yet he felt a strange compulsion to keep holding on at any cost. The weight of the stones in his hand was now magnifying the weight of the bag on his back, creating a crushing cycle of pain and exhaustion. He believed that dropping even one stone would be a failure, a sign of weakness that he could not allow himself to show to the world. "How do those stones feel now?" the master asked. Kaito shouted in agony. "It hurts! My arm is burning! I cannot hold them any longer!" The master sighed softly. "If it hurts so much, why do you not simply choose to put them down? Why do you insist on suffering unnecessarily?" The question hung in the air like a sudden clap of thunder, shaking the foundations of Kaito's long-held beliefs about his own heavy and painful journey. With a shaking hand, Kaito finally reached for the straps of his bag. He began to untie the knots that had held his past so tightly. As the bag fell open, the stones tumbled out. They were dark and ugly, etched with the scars of years of resentment and unhealed, deep-seated pain. Each stone had a name. One was the bitterness of a broken friendship, a moment of anger that Kaito had carried like a burning, heavy coal. Another was the heavy weight of a missed opportunity, a path not taken that he had mourned every single day of his long, weary life. And there were the stones of grief for those he had lost and could not bring back, held so tightly that he had forgotten how to live. The master picked up the stone of anger. "Past events are meant to be lessons," he said, "not anchors that drown us in the deep ocean." He let the stone fall. It sank into the stream, the water washing over it, turning the sharp edges into something harmless and hidden under the flow. Kaito watched as his pain was swallowed by the river, and he felt a strange cold shiver of relief wash over his entire, exhausted and broken body. He realized that these stones were not his identity. They were merely things he had chosen to carry, and things he could now choose to let go. One by one, the memories were returned to the earth. The sound of the stones hitting the water was the most beautiful music he had ever heard. He wept, not out of sadness, but out of the sheer joy of being light. The tears washed away the dust of his long and heavy journey. He emptied the bag completely. The pile of stones at the bottom of the stream glittered like forgotten jewels under the soft light of the moon. Standing tall for the first time in years, Kaito felt as though he could fly. The gravity that had held him down had finally lost its grip. "Letting go is not about losing," the master whispered. "It is about making space for the beauty of the present moment to enter your heart." He breathed in the scent of the pine and the cool mist. And for the first time, he was not thinking of yesterday or fearing tomorrow's long road. The burden was gone, but the strength he had gained from carrying it remained, now transformed into a quiet wisdom that would guide his future steps. True freedom is found in the here and now. It begins the very second you decide that you have carried your heavy sorrows for long enough. Kaito thanked the master and began his walk again. His bag was still there, but it was empty, light enough to dance along with his every stride. The forest seemed different now, no longer a place of shadows, but a world of infinite beauty and possibility waiting for him to explore it fully. What stones are you carrying today? Let them go and find the freedom you deserve. Thank you for walking this path of letting go with us.